City. Bay City's finally done. Wilkesboro's been finished. So we're going to talk about Bay City. We're going to look at Bay City. We're going to drive Bay City. We're going to drive Wilkesboro too. We're going to do them both together. But I just want to go over this car, show everybody where it is. It's finished. It's driven. It's got about 80 miles on it. We're there. We're ready to go. We're going to go for a nice drive in it. We're going to talk about the differences real quick between the two cars. But mainly we're going to focus on this. Just as a reminder, I bought these two cars a year ago now, and the cars were done, restored, nut and bolt, both cars completely nut and bolt, every piece, every part. The chassis have been drastically upgraded. The drivetrains have been upgraded. Steve, our very, very good customer, Steve, purchased this car early on, so we made some changes. I originally thought about making both cars clones. They were going to both be exactly the same. But when Steve stepped up, decided he wanted the car, we made some changes. We went from the 430 horsepower engine, which is in this car, to the 495 horse engine, and we opted not to do another automatic. This is a 5-speed. Steve's a Harley guy, so we put side pipes on the car, which is really cool. The car looks amazing. The side pipes look great. It's a little noisy, especially at 7,000 RPM. We made some other subtle changes to the car. Steve picked the color. It's beautiful. I like this as much as the black car. I'm surprised. I lean toward black as far as liking the way they look, but this blue is just outstanding with the white interior. But we're going to pick the car up. We're going to look around on it. It's the same recipe as this. The chassis is the same. The quality of the car was the same. This car was original paint when we got it. It was absolutely dead nuts perfect. It had a little bump on the bottom corner, but nothing to speak of as far as damage. And again, we did nut and bolt on everything, every part, every piece. We actually insulated this car a little bit more than we did the black one. Same air conditioning though, same car, same thing, it's just got a little more power. But we'll talk about it, we'll ride in it, we're going to go through and look at the bottom, we're going to look at the interior, we'll look at the back of the car, and we'll get a good comparison. Then we're going to go for a ride tomorrow morning. We're going to leave early in the morning, around 7 a.m. so we can go out and really get some good time in the cars. Under the hood, it's the same basic situation. I like to make them a little bit different. The valve covers are different on this engine, which is just a cosmetic thing. It's the same basic idea. We did use, because of this valve cover selection, we didn't have to do the Hydro Boost. We did the vacuum booster, which I could take it or leave it. I'm usually leaning, my preference is typically the vacuum booster rather than the Hydro Boost. However, the Hydro Boost works really well in the black car. I think this looks better. I don't like all the hoses with the Hydro Boost. But again, it's the same basic idea. We'll talk about the chassis when we look underneath it, but it's the tubular control arms, it's coilovers on all four corners. They have the same core support, they have the same rate cooling system, they have the same air conditioning system, and it works great. I mean, it all works really well. The interior, there's a couple little differences. Again, this car was built specifically for the owner, and the owner in mind. He's larger than I am. He's 3 inches taller than I am and heavier. So with this car, we didn't use the factory steering column. We put a tilt steering column in it, and we used a much smaller diameter steering wheel, which actually works really well. If you look at the steering wheel itself, it's an aftermarket aluminum wheel. It's a custom-made wheel. But we had the machine shop make and install and make work the horn button in there so that it looked like a factory option. The big difference in here is because the Corvette usually, it's not really conducive to a big man. So we did a lot of work to make it work. We modified the seat frames extensively. We modified the seat cushions extensively. So now you sit down in the car like you would a Ferrari or a Porsche or something like that. You sit down in the car, not on the car. We did make some changes similar to that with the black car, but not to this degree. We moved the black car seats down about an inch and a half as far as making room for me and making me comfortable. This is down about 2 inches, 2.5 inches. It's as far as you can go. There is no more. I mean, but in doing that, it made a 250, 260 pound man that's 6'3", 6'4", very comfortable in the car, and the tilt wheel and the smaller diameter. You can see the stick shift. The stick shift is a little different looking than stock, but for the most part, it's the same thing. And the Dakota digital gauges, that's again the same thing. Typically, the factory used a little more of a color inside. I like the black and the white. I like the red and the black the way that we did The other car, it's an accent instead of an overpower. Again, the air conditioning is in this one. Every nut and bolt's been done on the car. It's all brand new or it's all completely restored. The convertible top, I don't think I'll bother to put it up. It's white, but it's completely restored. It's absolutely perfect. The radio works. It has the Bluetooth design inside there. Everything in the car works. Everything works perfectly. The car runs, drives great. We'll go for a ride tomorrow. We'll probably end up in a little bit of a drag race. I'm going to have Sherry drive the black car and follow us. This car is quicker than that one with the extra horsepower and the stick shift, but it's still fun to race anyway. As long as we don't get arrested, we'll be good. So we can look at the quality and the detail underneath the car. The suspension, again, the tubular control arms, both upper and lower, and we've got the coilovers that are dual adjustable coilovers on each corner. The dual adjustable coilover is for a reason. We really try to make the car ride good. I've said this before, it's something that's born with the race car stuff. And the byproduct is that it handles really well, but we do sacrifice a little bit of racetrack handling for ride. We want the car to ride smooth and not bang, and try to make it as much like a new Porsche as you can. So Van Steel is our go-to with all the suspension stuff. It really works well. We've had great luck with it. I've known these people for a million years. You can see the side pipes. So we fabricate most of the side pipe. This is a 427 original 427 side pipe. We take the original stuff off of it, and then they TIG weld these pieces of stainless. You can see the welds and stuff on this. It's all high quality. You can see the discoloration in the stainless. We're about 60 or 70 miles into this car. We'll be another 10 tomorrow, and we're at a point now where we're happy and we're going to deliver. The steering system is different. It's a Borgenson steering box. It's quicker ratio than the original. It doesn't have all of the crap underneath it that tends to leak and cause problems. The brake system, again, it's an upgraded Willwood caliper. It's a Willwood supplied rotor that's a vented rotor. It's a much better quality rotor than most of the Corvette stuff. But essentially, it's the same design as the original Corvette, and it's adequate, believe me. I mean, even in an all-out race situation, the car stops really well. It doesn't weigh anything. This car, generally, this package comes in at about 2,900 pounds with the aluminum engine and all of the other stuff that we've done to remove weight. Underneath the car, you can see all of the insulation that we've done, the 5-speed. All of the cars that we do with the aftermarket transmissions, whether it's a 4-speed automatic or whether it's a 5-speed manual, is we cut the cross member and we make this tubular part that bolts together. And the factory should have done that in the beginning. But the reason we do it is so we can get the transmission in and out of the car. I mean, we could build the thing and put it together with the body off of the frame. It wouldn't be that big a deal. However, if there was ever a need for a clutch or whatever, you'd have to remove the transmission and engine together to get to it. This way you do not. You unbolt this, drop everything down, it comes out of the car. It's literally an hour and a half and it's out of the car. But you can see all the new hardware. Everything underneath the car is new. The rear of the car, we use the complete package from Van Steel. It supplies these adjustable links here so that you can adjust the camber or caster and the camber rather, wherever you want it. The half shafts are replaced with much larger U-joints. The offset trailing arms are fabricated. They're much stronger. They use a bearing inside here instead of a bushing to really free the car up. And then again, you can see the dual adjustability of the coilovers in the back. The big block car would have come with a rear sway bar. This is not a big block car. It was a small block car, so it had nothing. This is a little bit bigger than the original big block sway bar for the back of the car. It's fine. You don't need a lot of sway bar on the back. In some cases, we don't use any. This actually allows the car to still ride nice, and it gives it a little bit of stability control in the back. The gas tank is the same deal as before. It's a stainless steel fabricated tank that's got the GM Camaro GM fuel pump in it. It's got all its pickups and bypasses. It's a really sophisticated pump. The pickups are dual and they're in either corner of the tank, so no matter what you're doing, the tank is picking up fuel. You can see all the original fiberglass and stuff that we've done. The car's undamaged, unhurt. It was just made pretty with black and undercoating in the wheel wells, but the cars are just phenomenal to start with. And again, all of the hardware, everything in the car is new. Every piece of the car is new. It's the same with both of the cars that we've done. Everything is either restored if it's an original body part or the frame rails that we used, or it's new. In most cases, it's new. In this car, the blue 66 Bay City, and the black one's coming with us. Sherry's going to drive that, follow us around a little bit. At some point, we might find out which one's the quickest, probably. But it's a nice early morning. We're trying to beat the rain right now, but we're going to go out and enjoy this a little bit. We don't even have the air conditioner on because it's actually kind of cool this morning. I don't know whether you can pick the exhaust up or not, but you'll hear what I was talking about with the 495. The idle's quite aggressive. Very, very smooth. The suspension and everything is excellent in the car. We do normally do the Morrison chassis swaps on everything, but the C2 cars are actually quite good without doing a complete chassis swap. I'm not saying the next one we do won't have this chassis swap. It might. We're going to go through this turn fairly quickly. Now we're going to step on it a little bit. At 7:30 in the morning, we still have traffic. Too bad. My clever horn button. We did this horn button is ridiculous amount of work. We had to machine shop machine everything so that it would inset, and then we made the plastic piece which is normally fixed move. That indicates the horn. In conclusion, we just went in for a ride and we had a couple of different drag races. The blue car, as expected, is a little bit quicker than the black car. It does have 60 horsepower, it's a stick shift, and it's a little bit lighter actually. So the outcome was pretty good. A lot of fun to drive. We have to put them away now because we did go past a cop and I don't know what they're doing. But we need to put the cars away. We had a great time. I hope you enjoy the video.